This is very exciting because we have someone with us who's won more than one award, won a few awards. So thank you so much to Eric for this extra special little YouTube interview where we're going to talk about You Belong With Me and his role as Henry in that, and then also the fact that he has won a few awards. So You Belong With Me, how did you get cast in that and how did that come about?
So that was shot over a year ago in New York. Um, that was my one and only real short. I think, if you go through the Real Short app and you're looking for more of my shows, which I've been told a lot, people that they do, and then they find out that's the only show I have on there, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm kind of glad that the one show I did was so, you know, great, and it hit so many people. This is a quality over quantity thing, and yeah. So You Belong With Me. I taped for that back in like February of 2024, and I booked it, and the team was great. Yuhan was the director, and she's awesome. I don't know how many verticals she's done. I think she's only done one or two, maybe. So it was one of those things where it was like it was a very unique situation. And then obviously my co-star Emma Holler is phenomenal. She plays Christine Wilson, and she's great. And Nick plays Eric, and Casey plays Gianna. I'm trying to think of all the names, and then the guy who played my dad. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's great. I've worked with him a couple times, and he's a phenomenal actor. He's so New York it hurts. And anyway, so it was just a really great group of people, and we knew when we were filming that we were making something awesome.
So one of the awards that yourself and Emma won was Swoonworthy Couple and also Swimworthy Scene. I've combined two awards into one there. Um, I thought it was really interesting with the scenes, particularly what was nominated for most swim-worthy scene, because obviously a lot of people will, votes go in a certain direction. But actually, that scene is much more about an emotional connection rather than, the more standard vert towel drop or something. Kind of, did you know when you were doing that scene that, oh, this feels a little bit different for a vertical?
It was my fifth vertical at the time.
Mm.
I hadn't done a lot of werewolves to that point. That was my first romantic comedy that I had done. And, me and Emma had really great energy, really good connection.
Mm.
And the scene that got nominated, when I leave the meeting and I come back and she's sobbing on the couch, and I think I say, "Hey, baby," when I open the door, or "Hi, baby," something along those lines. And that wasn't scripted. Uh, but it was something that got her to turn. And then once she turned, I take her in my arms, and then she's snobbing all over my suit. And that part was scripted, where she's supposed to be snotting on it, and I make fun of her, and it just creates a light-hearted cuteness of our relationship. And I did not know that that would ever be nominated for a Swoonworthy thing. I think the deeper you get into verticals, you see that most of the vertical companies just try to push the boundaries with, more intense sexual situations or whatever. And so my first instinct would have been that that would have been something that would be nominated as, like, a really good sexy scene or something. But the fact that that scene was the one that was nominated and won is just, it's it tells a lot about, like, the fan base. I think the viewers watch that and they go, "Oh my God, like, this is a man who is actually, like, putting his partner first above work." And I think that it really helps, the viewer feel like they won. Feel like that if they haven't gotten that before in their life, or they have and they needed a reminder, that's what it was. It was a perfect reminder. And yeah, she's such a talented actress, and uh, I remember filming that. I had such a great time filming, and um, yeah, it was
I
awesome.
want to say
So
thank you for that scene as well, because I just think it's so important that that's actually what people really want when it comes down to it, knowing that in that moment, Christine is the most important thing to Henry. That's all you really
yeah,
want to know, that you're the most important thing in the world to someone else. So,
isn't that what we all want? Like, just in
yeah.
life. I mean, like, I think the biggest part of life is connection,
Mm.
and don't we all just want to be someone's favorite thing, like, above anything
Yeah.
else? And yeah, so Henry and Christine, they embodied that, we embodied that, and it won us this bad boy. So I'm not sure if it will show. I have a
Yeah.
black shirt on, so you can see right there, but
Excellent work. Yeah.
on-screen couple, which is really,
Yeah.
really cool. So, yeah, thank you for
Thank you.
this.
Um, so just want to very quickly talk about. It's interesting you said that that wasn't scripted. You saying maybe because obviously another thing that's won an award was "You Bumbling Idiot," which I found quite interesting because I didn't think, full honesty, that was the most memorable line, but people loved that line.
I think
What's your
one,
theory behind it? Why has that resonated with people?
so one of the things I love about social media is like the reach that you can get out of it. Like you'll reach so many people that you don't even know. And so I posted that scene specifically on my Instagram after I got footage. I think it was watermarked footage at best, but when I got footage, I posted that scene on my Instagram, and it performed really well. It reached a bunch of people. And um, I went back after I found out that I won the award for a one-liner. I went back and I looked at the script and I was like, what was actually written? And I looked and I actually pulled it up before our interview. And so I have the script right here in front of me. And so it says, you know, Eric says, it was supposed to be a surprise, sweetheart. And Christine says, this fucking liar, as a VO in her head. And then I'm supposed to have a dramatic pause and just look at Eric. And then I'm supposed to say, just this once, Eric. If you spend my company's money on your own personal life again, you're done. Are we clear? And I was like, you know, Nick, who plays Eric, and myself, who plays Henry, we were the same age. I was like, I am his uncle. He's my nephew. I was like, an uncle who's really powerful like Henry would belittle Eric. He would make him feel lesser than and really put him in his place. I was like, I don't think this line does that. And so, anyways, I didn't tell the director or anyone. I just, always just, what is it? Don't ask for permission, beg for forgiveness. So
Mm.
I was like, if they get mad at me for doing the take this way, I'll just beg for forgiveness. And anyways, when we were doing that scene, I was just like, listen to me, you bumbling idiot, because I wanted to find a word that put him in his place. And I was like, if you spend my company's money on your own personal life again, it'll be the last fucking time you walk through those doors. And I pointed to the doors because I needed to leave with a threat, and that's what the intent of the line
Mm.
was. And so, anyways, I did it on the first take, and the director was like, I love that. And I was like, great, that's what we're going with.
Mm.
So, yeah, I didn't think that would be that impactful either.
That's really exciting because it does show, doesn't it, that trust the actor's instinct. Because look what happened. It was magic. Um,
It's different set to set, Jen. Some sets, they want you to be word for word. And
mm,
I'll give a little secret. I've been told that I need to be word for word because the closed captions, they don't want to change them. They want the
mm,
closed captions to match what they put in, as opposed to hiring someone to go through line by line and figure out what
yeah,
was said. And but then also the majority of the time they let us cook, and
mm,
they let us at least trust our first instinct and get the gist of it. And if you completely don't get the gist of it, then of course you need to go back
mm.
to the script.
So, among the other awards you've won was also the other duo award, which was Best On-Screen Duo for your role with Mark. Is it Mark Pontarelli? Am I saying?
Mark Pontarelli, yeah, that was for. Well, we don't have to talk about the other title, but Devil's Triangle is
Yeah.
the title that we were credited for on IMDb, and
Mm.
that one was a dreamy short production with me, Mark, and Jesse Gallagher, and that was a blast.
Yeah, that's blast. Yeah, people love that. So just so you know on that. Um, and then obviously you've won Best Actor in a Drama. Is that the one that possibly lands most for you?
Yeah, I mean, you know the results, so you know the two awards that would land the most.
Yeah.
But best actor in a drama, which I have right here,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
it was just great because so one of the things that I love that you did by taking on this humongous
Mm.
challenge is you gave the actors in this space the ability to be seen for their acting abilities. And I think one of the things that uh, vertical actors can feel like is that we're cast because we are, you know, quote unquote attractive and not for our acting abilities. And I think that what you've enabled is for us to feel celebrated for acting. And so for this one, for winning this, for playing Henry Lockwood and You
Mm.
Belong With Me, being the best lead actor in a drama, that just meant so much to me because it just made it, not that I need the validation, but it made me feel validated. It made me feel like, hey, we're doing something great here that is actually getting recognition for skill set, not just for being a piece of eye candy or whatever.
Mm.
So, yeah, that one really it meant a lot, and that was the one that I celebrated for the most.
Okay. We have to finish with the final one. So I kind of put these categories together because I felt that we needed a rising star to kind of focus on someone who's sort of making an impact and developing. And then I also wanted to do a legend one because I was kind of thinking about, obviously me, Oscars, not quite the same, but you get lifetime achievement, don't you? And I thought there needs to be something for vertical legend. So I was kind of putting it out as basically someone who kind of defines the genre, has had a massive impact, has brought a lot of people into the genre, which I think you fit that bill because, first of all, Unwanted Mate was a lot of people's first vertical and brought them in. And also You Belong With Me was a lot of people's first vertical and brought them in. And that was actually the first one that I watched. So I think you fulfill that. But also, I think a lot of it is about who you are as a person and how you interact with the fans because, spoiler, you are officially the fans' choice for Vertical Legend for 2024. It's not good. That was also really, really tight because, as we know, there's a huge amount of phenomenal actors and actresses in the industry. And I wish I could give everyone an award because I know how hard you all work. And I felt really bad that I couldn't just give everyone. I go into mum mode, but like my budget is very small. So we had to work with what we had. And it was really, really tight. And obviously there's so many people around the world voted. So we had, I mean, it went insane. I think we had over 16,000. And I think what was really interesting was the votes were global. So, I mean, there were votes from America, there were votes from Albania, there were votes from Kazakhstan, there were votes from the Philippines, there were votes from Nepal. We had one vote for Antarctica, which makes me so happy. And I really have this vision of a penguin with a computer. But I want verticals. How is that? I know that's a bit of an odd question because that's possibly a little bit almost out of body to talk about, but I'm a vertical legend.
Yeah, you know, I was not expecting to win that award. Um, like you said, kind of in the Oscars and other award shows, they have, Lifetime Achievement Award and, or someone who's done a lot for the space. And that's what this award felt like for me. And, one of the reasons why we do verticals, that why a lot of these actors and actresses that are so insanely talented do verticals is we want to make an impact. And we see what this medium means to so many people. It's a place to escape. It's a place to go, live in a different world for a little bit and have a story told that needed to be told or that you just needed to hear. And sometimes you'll rewatch them over and over and over again. And for me, the reason why I love verticals is because of that. This means so much to so many people, and the ways that we're able to impact people just by being able to make art, that's really cool. And I love being able to interact with the fans because that's the coolest part about social media is like I get to see how much this means to each of them. And so, winning the Vertical Legend Award is insane to even say out loud, but it really is a testament to the incredible community that we have, and I love that I get to be a big part or even a small part of making that community just a little bit more, happier, a little bit more excited, a little bit more, you know, just ready to go through life every day. And that's what that award feels like for me. So thank you to you, thank you to the fans for voting me and for just also seeing who I am, because I think, like you said, that also says a lot about how I get to engage with the audience, and that's what's really cool about this space.
Oh, thank you so much, and it is so deserved. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Stop.